Hey guys, I'm Chris from the Silver Symbol channel, and in today's video I'm going to be installing a super long run of Ethernet cable about 550 feet inside an existing conduit. When you've got a brand new conduit that's empty, running a cord is generally not too difficult, but in the real world often conduits already have existing cords. They could have fiber optic cables, copper, and I have all of those things in this pipe running along my driveway. And now I need to add an additional Ethernet cable about 550 feet. Now some of you are cringing right now because this is copper cable, saying you can't run one that long. Well, in fact you can if you're going to use this cable called Game Changer. This is thicker copper cable. It's got tighter twists, and they've even got a patent on this stuff, and I've already used it along my driveway to run other cameras, and I'm way over that 300-foot limit. I'm not getting packet loss, noise, or any of those issues, and that is exactly what this cable is designed for, including running PoE over that cord as well. I've got this 1-inch underground conduit. It really is a piece of sprinkler pipe, but it's acting as a normal conduit, and that pipe goes all the way from my workshop down to my driveway gate, which I did in a past video. Now in that video, the run was somewhat easy, though it was almost 1,000 feet long. It began by me using this little shopping bag, and I tied it to a piece of masonry twine and basically sucked it through a pipe by using a shop vac at the opposite end. Now that's not an original idea, but it is a really long run that I did, and surprisingly it worked fine. But here I'm not able to do that shopping bag trick anymore. I could certainly stuff it in the pipe and try to pull it through with the vacuum, but when you've got existing cables, they're kind of crisscrossing around inside the pipe, and the bag is just going to simply get hung up along the way. We have got to figure out a way to install this string in the existing pipe, and for that we are going to use something called a fish tape. Steel, of course, is never going to really break. These things can last forever. You can bend them around, and you're going to find beat up ones of these things in every cable installer's toolbox. But they've got two major problems. The first is they really are designed for pulling wires. They have almost no ability to push a cable through a pipe. Think about something like a tape measure. When you begin to push that tape, the metal is going to kind of snap, flex around, and it doesn't have the kind of strength needed. Steel tapes have another major disadvantage. When you're using them in an existing conduit with cables, they can easily damage those other wires in the space. They're not able to bend or flex as easily as you need them to, and if they nick those existing wires, you are going to be pissed. So for this installation, I need to get one of these fish tapes inside a pipe and push it about 300 feet. And for that, we are going to use a fish tape made of fiberglass. Now, fiberglass tapes aren't new, and they've got a ton of weaknesses, but the one huge benefit they have is they have incredible strength when they are being pushed into a conduit. They simply can navigate the conduit so much better because they can flex more in addition to being stronger when they are being pushed through. And that flexibility is going to allow this fiberglass tape to navigate around your existing cables. So with Fish Tape 101 out of the way, let's get started with the real project. For this job, I rented this small fiberglass fish tape. This thing is called the Little Buddy, and it's kind of a weird name, but this thing's been around forever. Cable installers love this thing because it is small, it's portable, and it's perfect for smaller conduits like this. To use it, I've installed a tip that just has a cone on top, and I'm going to start by pushing it into the pipe. And you don't need a PhD to use this thing. You just keep sliding the fish tape out into the pipe, and you're going to keep pushing it through until it comes out the other side. On camera, this might not look like a big deal, but you are pushing this piece of fiberglass or plastic through this conduit almost 300 feet. And I'm just going to keep pushing this thing until eventually it comes out the other side. And now we've got some success. In fact, it kind of came out so easy, I didn't even think it went through. I wondered if it might have got hung up. And this is about 270 feet away from the other handhole. Now I've just got to attach a new pull string to this thing. Now this Klein stuff is pretty cheap. I think this is sold under a bunch of different brands, and I should mention none of the tools or any of the stuff in the video is sponsored in any way. With the pull string tied to the end of the rod, I've simply just got to reverse the process. Now this little buddy thing is pretty cool because it rolls back up into this thing. I kind of feel like I'm doing this wrong, but I think you're supposed to spin this wheel while you're pushing it in, but I just kind of hand fed it in and it coils itself right around. And you'll notice I'm wearing these rubber gloves, and I would highly recommend it because fiberglass does have one big problem. Sometimes if it gets scratched on the side, you're going to get little fiberglass shards, and if they go in your hands, it's kind of like getting a bunch of needles in there, and you really want to avoid that. Now with the new string complete, I've just got to tie it in a knot to the existing pull string that is going to my workshop, and then I can go ahead and attach that Ethernet cable to the other end of the string and pull it through. But this is where I'm going to show you guys a tool that is pretty amazing. Now I used this thing on the gate install video, and there is no way I could have done that job without this thing. I don't think anybody should go out and buy this tool because it cost about 1,200 bucks. But fortunately, there are a lot of electrical supply houses that also rent tools, and this little thing called the Versatugger is definitely something you want to consider if you're going to be pulling cables anything more than I would say about 150 feet. It's driven by a drill that you supply, but it's got a gearbox. You're increasing the torque on this capstan or wheel. But force alone is not going to just work in a cable. Otherwise, you could tie the end of the thing to your car and just drive away. And of course, what's going to happen? You're going to tear the thing or break it apart. The genius in this tool is this end. It's got this rod on the extension, but then it's got this clip. This allows me to brace it against the bottom of the conduit. Now this thing is pretty slick because you can actually use it overhead, standing height, underground like this, and you're able to rotate it so the clip is going to get a good solid brace on the pipe. But the amount of force on that cable is amplified about 10 times, and that is going to allow a single person like me to pull a cable like this almost 500 feet. Oh, we got it. Boy, you realize how hard it is without the machine. Holy shit. And in just a couple of minutes, I've got my network cable outside the pipe and our cable run is done. And now with my cable installed, I can go ahead and install the security camera. Now that is kind of a custom job that I did using a piece of well pipe, and actually have that detailed out in a video linked in the upper right-hand corner. Anytime you've got to run cables, whether it's in an existing conduit, new conduit, or anywhere, they can always be a challenge. But I have found that the tips in this video really made a huge difference for my installs, and especially if you're going to be doing the job alone. And if you liked this video or even found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my main channel, the Silver Symbol channel, and this channel, the Workshop channel, for more videos coming up.